Hey guys, before we get into today's show, here's a quick word from our sponsor. What if your dream garage started inside your home? Piedra Studios offers handcrafted concrete car models capturing the curves and lines of history's most iconic cars in solid concrete. They're about the size of your hand, perfect for your desk, shelf, or garage. From the Porsche 911 to the Ferrari F40, and now their brand new Formula One model, each piece is rooted in brutalist designs, style they call art brutale, inspired by the founder's background in architecture. I got one of their models, and trust me, it looks even better in person. And soon, they'll be dropping a full F1 bundle, including the F1 car, tire, steering wheel, and helmet. Each piece selected carefully for your collection. Listeners get 15% off with the code PITBOX at piedrastudios.com. That's PITBOX at piedrastudios.com. Build your office garage today.
Welcome to episode 41 of the Pitbox Podcast. We are currently recording live from upstate New York. It's the weekend of IMSA, 6 hours at the Glen. There's a few of us up here just having a great time, and we figured it's been a while, so why don't we give the good folks at home another podcast? Why not, right? I got Seb here. I got Chris here.
What's going on, fam? How we doing?
I got my boy Ty here.
Yo,
You guys don't know Ty, but he's been helping out all the sim work I've been doing. If you follow me on social media, that's his sim. Unfortunately, I don't have the space currently to have a sim like his.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Eventually, we will get there. And he even came to Coda for my Skip Barber 2 day as well.
Yeah, that was a fun trip.
It was a great time. So
Quick and fun trip.
Yep. And just to catch everybody up on what has transpired over the last year. So last year, my main objective was to get my competition license with SCCA. I went about it with the route of going through Skip Barber, the F4 3-day school initially, which I had completed at Lime Rock, and then later in the year, as we just mentioned, I went to Coda for the 2-day advanced school in the F4 car. You want to talk about dream activities? This is one of them. Like, come on, what are we talking about? I go from the couch to driving the F4 around Coda? Come on, son.
He got money.
Well, I know how to save money. Remember, it ain't always how much you make, but how much you spend.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much of that left now.
Yeah, right. Skip Barber ain't cheap, boys.
We had to replenish. We had to do some PB&J. I'm not doing ramen. At least not the packs. We can go to a nice ramen restaurant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a great experience overall. It started off where you don't actually get in the Formula car itself. Like, they'll have you drive front wheel drive cars such as a Camry or such around cones just to kind of get you warmed up and comfortable with sliding the car around and things like that. And then later in the day, you get to the F4 car. And then, of course, this is a full-blown Formula One track, and you're in a Formula car. You come out the pits, you're looking at the sky because the elevation is so crazy for turn one.
That turn one hill is a nice hill.
And because you're going slow, you're like, oh my God, I'm here. We're doing this.
The reality starts to set in.
Iconic turn one.
Then you bust that left. You go down the hill, you're like, oh, it's kind of steep. It's like a roller coaster. Okay.
S's.
Then you go through the S's. Reminds you of Silverstone. And the span of what really is probably like less than a minute, you going up, down, and side to side from the elevation and then the turns. It's a bit technical. And then, of course, once you get through that whole section, you have the super long straight, which feels like it goes on forever. And it's funny because the F4 car in a straight line technically is not really that fast. I think the car makes like 160 horsepower there. Like, don't be fooled, people at home. 160 horsepower, when you talk about something that weighs like probably less than 2,000 pounds, you're moving.
And you're outside.
And you're outside. I know your minivan might be faster on paper with horsepower. This is a whole different experience. This is raw, unfiltered. This is everything that you want a race car to be. And then you get down. Yeah, then you get down the end of the straight. You slam on the brakes with that rock hard brake pedal. Your whole neck goes flying forward. Come down the gears. Boom, boom, boom. And then the short turn in. Oh, here we go. Back to the throttle.
This is where you close your eyes and visualize, by the way.
Then you get to that super tight section.
Get out of Dakota.
You got that super tight section where, at least compared to like some of the faster turns, I almost feel like you can get out and walk faster. I think everybody knows the section. Maybe I'll put a track map up.
You got like 3 hairpins.
Yeah, they're all pretty tight.
Back straight and then...
And then you get to the last section, which is a series of right-handers. It's really like one long turn that has multiple apexes. Then once you come through there, you have a left-hander, which is actually pretty fast. And then you have the very last corner, which is another left-hander, which is relatively tight. But because the straightaway is right there, you want to prioritize your exit. And then that's a lap of Coda in the F4 car.
Big
Magical.
track.
So first question then, because I think from most of the feedback that I've heard, at least from like the Formula One drivers after driving on Coda, the back straight is bumpy. Was it bumpy for you?
It wasn't.
Because they repaved it, right? Or
They have repaved since the track has been made, but also I guarantee you the F4 car has a better ride quality than the current set of regulations of F1 cars. So, for the modern F1 cars, they derive the downforce from the floor. So you have to run the car on the floor and super stiff to make sure the floor is doing its job and actually sucking the car to the ground. And also, let's not forget that now they have the 18-inch wheels, so they don't have as much sidewall as they used to for the previous regs. So the ride quality is something that's been an issue for them the entire time that they've had these regulations. And you can actually see it even when watching them drive around Coda. Like, you can see the car bounce and stuff, and not necessarily porpoising like we saw the first year, but like legitimately bouncing from the bumps. But for me, it wasn't a problem. Like, the car definitely has a better ride quality than a modern F1 car if you look at how the behavior of the cars are over the bumps, But then, like,
Way less downforce too for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Out of curiosity, so for the people who haven't had the privilege of seeing or hearing some of our previous podcasts, what does it take leading up to Coda? Like, can I go on Skip Barber's website and say, hey, I want to go to Coda and drive in a Formula car right out the gate? Or is there some type of criteria or process that's associated with that? And then I also have another part of the question that I want to ask after.
For Skip Barber, you don't necessarily have to have any prerequisites to drive the Formula car. But you wouldn't do the 2-day advanced school if you haven't done it before. You would do the 3-day school. And at some tracks, I don't know if it's true about Coda specifically, but they do have a 1-day course where I'm not sure how much track time you do get in the Formula car, but you do get to drive the Formula car in 1 day.
So to do the specific event that you went to go do, did I need to do any previous training through Skip Barber, or I could just fly directly to Coda and do the same Formula event that you participated in?
You would have to do the 3-day.
Also, that is a requirement. I see. Okay.
Yeah. I
Makes
think
sense.
the only way you could get it waived is maybe if
He did the advanced. He was on the advanced one, on the advanced classes when he was in there.
Yeah, like there was people there doing the 3-day.
I see.
But you have to do the 3-day to do the 2-day.
Okay.
But I
The
don't.
Right.
advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
so
don't-
for everybody following at home, essentially you have to have done a Skip Barber session, whether it's 1 day or the initial 3-day, prior to being able to participate or
In the
do what
advanced, too.
Steve
Right.
happened to do. I guess so. In tandem with that, if you had to put a dollar figure on, that short weekend that you spent, how much would the people at home roughly expect to spend on that type of weekend?
I think for me it was about $8,000.
Okay.
That's the. I'll break it out a little bit. So
Please.
the $8,000 would be paying for the school plus some form of insurance through the school. Like it would have been less than $8,000 if I didn't get the insurance. But you don't really know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And it's a bit of peace of mind. I mean, of course, you can get to the end of the event and be like, well, I didn't hit anything. I kind of just burnt
Right, well,
up,
that was
like,
always the goal.
Yeah,
right?
I just burnt up like $700.
You can't
use
factor
that
in
on
everything.
whatever, but
Right.
how would you know? If you had
Absolutely.
the crystal ball, you probably would be rich enough and just buy the school itself.
Right,
You
right,
probably
right,
wouldn't
right.
even
Or
need
the
to-
car.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you have your own.
So obviously, in addition to the 8,000, of course, you had to stay too. You got to get a place.
Yeah.
You got to get a car to move around and stuff.
Neither of those were outrageously expensive. Like
Okay.
I stayed at a hotel that was by the airport.
Mm.
The airport is, I don't know, maybe it was like 20-ish minutes from the track,
Right.
and the airport was 5 minutes from the hotel.
Right. Going back to the meat and potatoes, when you first got to Coda that morning, what are some of the things that were going through your mind? And of course, I'd imagine that they had some sort of driving meeting, prior to doing anything. Did you get any type of documentation or anything like that? Kind of walk us through from like a baby step kind of perspective.
When I turned through the gate, first I was amazed at how terrible the quality of the road was, because it was like collapsing in certain sections.
Interesting.
And I
Okay.
was like, oh, well, this makes sense why you have to keep repaving the track. Look how terrible this is. That was the first thing. And then, once you actually arrive at the garage area, you see like some of the bowler cars that the other students have. You're like, that's real nice. But
Yeah, we pulled up to like the GTRSs and stuff in the driveway. And
yeah, man, someone had a McLaren, GT3 RS.
That's awesome.
Somebody's
R8.
mom showed up in an R8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the new one.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was wild. She had was it? Well, I don't think it was a lady with the McLaren. Obviously, it wasn't a lady with the McLaren hat on, but I forgot whose mom it was. But
No, well, I'm not going to disclose whose mom it was, but they did have an R8 on the.
Hey,
on the
shout
way.
out to Mom Dukes.
yeah,
And then, like, at first, I was trying to find a classroom. I actually went through the wrong door, and
Can happen to anybody.
yeah, and I was like, I don't really know where I am, but I'm just gonna keep walking down this hall and open the door. And I open the door, and it leads right into the pit lane. And then you just have this wonderful view of all the cars sitting in the pit lane and the Texas sun rising. And you're like, oh boy, I'm here. I made it.
Right.
And then, of course, eventually I'm like, okay, well, this is nice, but I still have to figure out where I have to go.
Absolutely.
And I made my way up to the classroom. And then, you start seeing, I already knew Ken, the head instructor. And then, you look out on the balcony and you see all the cars sitting there. You're like, oh, man, I get to do this? This is way better than sitting at work.
Absolutely. You kidding me? Plus, the dream probably also starts to set in into a little bit of a reality. It probably almost feels a little surreal. Like you said, earlier in the conversation where you had mentioned that, you get in the car and exit in the pit lane and it's like you look up at the sky and you're like, wow, I'm really doing this right now.
Yeah. It's always nice that first lap is behind, like, an instructor, because it lets you really just take it in, like, I'm here. Like, I need that first lap to be like, oh, I'm here. And then, like, the second lap, I can be, okay, where's Apex?
Right.
Where am I going?
Let me soak in the sights real quick.
Yeah.
So how did it work for the rest of the sessions? Like, obviously there's a couple of days that are involved there. So is that day one? Like, is it kind of like a follow the leader kind of thing, and then you're just trying to get acclimated? And then as it continues, like, are you racing your fellow, I guess, classmates?
So after you do, like, the warm-ups and the Camrys and such, you go on track, and it is lead follow. So they'll kind of, like, just break the group. the group is already broken into half, and then they will kind of break it up a little bit further. So it's only like 3 or 4 people behind each instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just show you the lines, and we'll keep switching places in line to be closer to the instructor so you get a better view of what to do. And then later in the day is when you start to begin doing certain drills where it'll be what they call a stop box, which is you'll do a lap, and when you get back to the front straight, they will provide you feedback on the lap. So the instructors are posted up at different parts of the track, and they will just take note of what you did in that corner, and then they'll radio in that, like, oh, I want to talk to car number 1. So when you come by on the straight, they'll flag you down, you stop, they put the radios in your ear, and they tell you what's going on. And then at the end of the session, like, you can recap with all of the students, I mean, not all students, all of the instructors, and really get a little bit more detail on what you were doing right and wrong. There's also classroom sessions to talk about different techniques. Mainly, the thing that kind of stood out is how to approach getting up to speed, which would be like, oh, you know, work on the line first, work on like your braking points later. Then other things talking about controlling the platform of the car, which is very key when driving any car, but especially a Formula car, with how sensitive they are. Other sessions that we did over the course of the 2 days would be like passing drills with the instructors. So there would be like 3 of us, whatever, behind the instructor, and the instructor is also in the Formula car when you're doing the passing drills, and you will pass them going into like turn 1, for example. They'll follow you through the S's, and then they'll pass you in like turn 7, wherever that hairpin that leads into the street is. And then you'll move out the way, and the next student will do it at the next passing zone. Then we did practice race starts, which was fun, of course. And then at the very end, you get to do open lapping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because you're spaced out far enough, it's almost like having CODA to yourself.
So when you mentioned that they, you know, put the walkie-talkie up to your ear, did you find it challenging to, like, grasp what they're trying to tell you, considering the fact that it's your first time actually racing at CODA, and they're probably referencing different corners and things like that you might not have memorized yet?
I didn't think it was hard to grasp. Because some of the advice could be something you're doing everywhere. And then some of it obviously is corner specific. But it's not like they're going to sit there and tell you an entire paragraph or essay worth of information. There's going to be a few sentences. Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what I need you to do. But it's when the session is over and you get out the car, you can recap with them. That's when you can go more in depth.
Kind of drill down.
Yeah, to better yourself.
Okay, so they're kind of just glazing over, if you will, how you went during the last session instead of, you know, overwhelming you with information. That's probably a lot easier to manage.
Yeah, and it's a lot of turns at CODA too.
Absolutely,
so,
that's why.
You know, they just break it into sections. But it could be something simple, like they can tell you you're not using enough brakes. You could be harder on the brakes. You need to hit the apex. You know, you are doing X, Y, Z. You know, and then like I said, when the session's over, then they could be like, hey, you were doing this. This is what I saw. This is what I liked. I need you to do this to be better.
So we had our friend Ty over there at CODA. I know he didn't arrive at the same on the same day that you did. Walk us through, I guess, you know, how the experience went for you, Ty.
It was just as fun being a spectator. I had a good time being there supporting Steven. I actually was able to listen in on his classes that he was in with when the coaches were explaining certain things, and I learned some stuff as well.
Oh, wow.
Ken was talking about like what Steven was saying, taking control of the platform. Like if you feel like you're not exiting fast enough, to try different techniques. A lot of people kind of jump in these cars, I feel like, and think that they could just brake late and come out of an exit quick, and that's just not how it is all the time. Especially if you're side by side with a car, and just giving the again free knowledge and free information pretty much from Ken. He's a legend in the racing space, so kudos to him. Like if you're gonna learn information and be coached by somebody, you definitely want to speak to Ken. Absolutely. Especially earlier on in your career and in your racing journey. But I do have a question for Steven on behalf of coming from sim racing, coming out of turn 1, going down the hill and into the S's. The sausage curbs in the S's, will they kill you or not? If you hit those sausage curbs with the F4 car, will it take you out?
You're gonna break the car.
That is confirmed. That is confirmed.
The curves must be brawling.
You gotta stay away from the.
So for those of you that don't know, in sim racing space on at Coda, those sausage curbs, specifically talking about iRacing, in any car, if you go over and touch those curbs in any way, shape, or form, your car is going to be facing the sky at some point.
Oh wow!
In one of the corners. So yeah, be mindful of that corner or those in the sausage curbs and those in the S's for sure. But it was a fun quick trip. I only stayed there for, what was it, Steven? It was one night, right? That I stayed?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I came a day late, and it was only 2 days for him. Ran out of time too, because we wanted to go to that sim racing center too that was there. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
It was a quick fun trip. Like I said, free game from people. It was great. It motivated me. I kind of wanted to look into Skip Barber and doing it myself too. So we'll see what happens from it.
Was that your first time at Coda?
That was my first time physically at Coda. Yes,
Yeah?
I know the track well, but that was my
Absolutely.
first time physically there in person for sure. I did some competitive racing and sim racing there several times, but I've never been there in person yet. No, that was actually my first time in Texas. Period.
Oh wow!
So
how was that for you?
it was a quick trip. It was nice. Weather was great. Like I said, we were close to the track as well from the airport, which is cool, or from the hotel. So it was nice, and it was a quiet 2 days that we were there. Nothing crazy, easy drive. The track was quiet. There wasn't that many people there. It was literally just Skip Barber there those 2 days. And yeah, that was it.
Outside of I guess being able to sit in some of the class sessions, what was your access like? Like, were you able to walk around the pits? Were you able to go to the
I
wall?
was able to do pretty much anything all the students were able to do other than drive the car.
Oh, that's cool.
I think if me and Steven would have pushed a little bit, I probably wouldn't have been able to sit in an F1 car. We tried it.
Yeah, we could have.
But something happened. I think one of the cars was like leaking oil or something like that. His class was like full, so they really didn't have like any cars sitting around that weren't being used.
Interesting.
There was a lot of like young kids there. There was some older guys there, but it was mostly younger kids that were there. But they gave me free range to pretty much do anything. No one told me no. I was able to go check out their pit truck as well, their trailer that they had. I checked out the cars that were in there that were coming in and out of there. I was talking to the mechanics for a little while because they travel the country with the trailer, the truck and the trailer. So, but yeah, it was fun. I had full access, like I said, other than driving. I was able to go. Oh, I take that back. I was not able to go to every single corner, like all the different corners. But I think I never asked, and I think it was because you could probably just need to walk there yourself, and I had no idea how to get to the different corners.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to find that out.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be walking.
Man, that Texas heat, man.
I don't want to be walking. I don't want. It wasn't that hot either. It was.
Oh, wow.
It was chilly. It was chilly outside. I know in the morning I was freezing.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be super hot. It wasn't that hot. And I only went to the corners where the coaches were bringing the students. So they would, at some point, we would switch. They broke them up in groups. And at some point they would have the group of students. What was the group names? I don't know if it was like by.
It was just colors.
Yeah, it was colors. So they would break them up by colors, and then when one group was out, the other group color would go in the van to the bridge. Yeah, to watch the other group go underneath the overpass for. I don't know what corner that was. It's the last sector of the track. With a long right, this the two apexes for the right corner.
I can't remember the track number. I mean the course numbers for the.
But it's in the last. You pretty much see the last sector. Yeah, you see the last sector, and you pretty much watch them the other group go by, and then it's like clockwork. They reverse it and you go back. That was the only time I knew where I was. Other than that, I don't know where I was. I would have been walking somewhere on the track. So. But yeah, I wish I was able to go to different corners, but I just didn't know how to get over there. But other than that, like I said, I had full access.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess one of my last questions about CODA, Steve, is how many other classmates did you have? Like you said, there was multiple groups with different colors. Like how many people were assigned per group? How many people were there total? Roughly,
Ballpark.
I think the max would have been 20 people.
Oh, that's a decent amount.
Maybe if you cut it in half, 10. Yeah, it was somewhere in that 15 to 20 range, probably.
And each group had how many people? Like
you would just cut it in half, whatever.
Oh, okay, whatever the amount was. I see.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to visually count it in my head.
Oh,
sorry.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a lot. It was a lot because.
20 does sound like a lot of people.
It was a lot because they had to break them up. It was like a big group, and then when they would come off, then the next group would go.
Right.
So like they were just
back to back.
Someone was in the car all the time. They didn't want to waste any time. So the marshal was not trying to waste time that day. He wasn't messing around. Anybody that was playing around, he was like, "I'm taking you off the track."
I kind of like that.
Yeah, he wasn't because
they come here.
Mission. Yeah, they come here and pay money, and the marshal wants to make sure they get what they paid for. So he's like,
Respect.
if you guys come here and mess around and joke around, I'm gonna take you out the car and you're coming off the track. So, and he was doing it that day for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of leads into the next chain of events for you, Steve. I know recently you happened to go a little further north from where we normally stay in New York, and visit Watkins Glen yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of talk to us about how that experience went, because we went from training to all right, now it's time to do the damn thing.
Yeah. Obviously, because I completed the 2-day with Skip Barber, that granted me my SCCA full competition license, and the whole objective is to do that so that this year I could get my 5 SCCA races in, and then next year in 2026, if I do an international race, I can apply for my FIA license. So, it's just one step at a time.
Absolutely.
Progression. So, of course, for SCCA, typically the 2 routes you might want to take if you're going to be cost effective is Spec Miata or Spec Racer Ford. I didn't know Spec Racer Ford was a real thing until I was having a conversation with somebody I know, and they mentioned it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, so let me look this up. So I looked it up, and I was like, wow, this looks like a mini Can-Am car from the 70s. I know it's a lot slower than that, but this looks cool. Like, it's like an actual race car. And obviously not to disrespect Miatas, because that's some of the best racing anywhere.
Yeah, kind of there is, right?
Yeah, but I want to drive a race car, like a actual thoroughbred race car, especially when I just spent 5 days in that F4 car the year before. So I started reaching out to people I know to ask them, like, hey, anybody know more about this? And somebody I know then connected me to someone who we ironically saw today in IMSA. He gave me a few teams to reach out to. Honestly, didn't even reach out to the second team. Like, I just reached out to the first team, and after talking to them, I was like, okay, I like what I hear. Like, the price is right. There's some structure here. You guys are known enough that I feel comfortable, and like other people have vouched as in seeing them around. So let's do it. So then it's like, okay, well, what track do you want to do? Like, we have a schedule. I'm looking at Watkins Glen, like, ooh, I need that.
We know what that's like.
Yeah, it was like, last year we had the opportunity, ironically, with Skip Barber to do a hot lap before the IMSA race.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, I have to drive this track. This is good. This is really good. So yeah, I chose Watkins Glen, and the race weekend was the very last weekend of May to June 1st. Spec Racer Ford got up here, and
2025.
I was like, oh baby, we are doing it. The first day was a test day. Get 4 sessions.
Okay.
Again, like that very first lap, you're like, oh,
Soaking it in.
oh, we here. This is what it's all about. This is what we've been waiting on.
Keep in mind, these are major tracks too. Like, these aren't like this is.
These are internationally known tracks.
I'm not like downplaying tracks, but these are pretty big. These are big deal tracks. These are big boy tracks for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So, luckily, within the team Motion Dynamics, there's a lot of people with experience. Like, not only have they been racing Spec Racer Ford for years, but they too are mostly Skip Barber grads who have participated in the Skip Barber race series in years past. Like, they've been racing for quite some time. So there's a good group of people to learn from and understand how the show goes. So the first session for like the first 4 laps or so, you just did lead follow essentially. Like, they just took it easy so I can get a true feel for the lines. Like, yeah, I did go to Ty's house and get some sim work in beforehand, but the sim is always different than real life for various reasons.
Yeah.
Wait, before you skip, do they have that car in the sim?
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, so
it's in iRacing.
Yeah.
It's a free car. You get it for free.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
How did that compare? Like, obviously there's some very key differences. One of them being feel and just having G's that you can actually feel. But did it translate well by the time you got there?
I felt in iRacing could have been definitely was driving different too. In iRacing, when you downshift, if I did 2 quick downshifts and the revs are high, I guess the back wheels are locking up and you would just lose control of the car. Like, it became real difficult to manage the back end if you did that. But in real life, I'm not downshifting at such a high RPM. For one, if you like over rev the engine, you have to pay for a new engine. We ain't doing that. So
Right. Let them know.
Yeah, so like I'll leave some margin,
For error.
And then like I don't know the car, so I'm still trying to figure out like how many lights on the dash to a red line, what colors are the lights, what am I looking for? There's a lot going on. Like the first session, I didn't even left foot brake. I just used my right foot. I'm just trying to see where am I going. What real details of the track is here? 'Cause it's not like I had a chance to do a track walk or anything before.
There's
It's just
different consequences if you mess up a left foot brake in a real race car.
Yeah,
versus
I'm
you
like
messing it up in the sim.
Yeah, I'm like let me just go out and just
It's
drive.
a
like
whole different feel when
Yeah.
you're breaking on the left on a real track.
yeah, it was uncomfortable using my right foot, but for the first session, it does not matter. Like, just get out there and see what the heck is going on.
And you had the setup too in iRacing.
Yeah,
The setup. He had a setup that someone sent him. And in iRacing, you can do like a fixed setup if you want something that's provided by iRacing, or you can download a setup that someone can give you. And if they feel like that's closest to something that would be related to real life, you can test it out and do it that way too. So that might have been what
I see.
his thing was too with the downshift thing. It could have been the setup. It could have been different things, but it was that and turn 1. You said too. You said felt kind of tight in the sim compared to real life?
It is tight in real life, but the sim didn't feel identical.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was. I feel like in this, or at least seeing it, it looks like, or how it is in real life, it seems like it is a little bit wider in real life compared to how it is in the sim. But I guess with the sim too, problem with that also is always your field of view, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't open up, or the track doesn't look like it's opening it up until you're like in the apex and you're looking down the corner at that point. So and then by then you're too slow. You would have. That's why FOV is so important. But I digress.
Definitely. Yeah, and by the end of like the last session, I felt relatively comfortable with the car. Like the car actually has a good amount of grip. It's a pretty fast track, so you're full throttle most of the lap, and it's just about working your way up towards the limit so you understand what's going on. Of course, at first you don't know what's happening, so you could naturally feel a bit uncomfortable, but then after you just get the laps in, you're like, okay, it's not going to move on me if I do this, or it can move, but it's not unmanageable. You start to understand what the car likes, what it doesn't like, and you just start to refine your line, your break-in points, all your inputs. You just see what you can and can't get away with as you do it. So then the next day is it's just quality and practice. Quality in a race. There's no practice. There's no warm-up.
I was gonna say you barely had time. You didn't really get to practice. Like it was very
I got
small
4
amount of
sessions.
time. Yeah, you gotta. It's just a day of practice. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. Not for a new car.
Yeah. And it ended up
Not to try to qualify the next day.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's always good to have expectations or lack thereof. My main thing was have fun, don't break anything.
Yeah.
Like if those
Survive.
2 things are accomplished, it was a good weekend.
Right.
And it actually ended up raining for qualifying, and it rained. The way it rained was it happened right before we went out on the grid, so we were on slicks instead of rain tires.
Oh wow.
In the wet, and it always rains.
Not
on
like your
Watkins
first official
and-
qualifying and it starts to rain on you. You gotta do it. Yikes.
But to say, well, at this point we can't turn around.
Exactly.
We gonna figure it out. You know what I mean?
And granted, like if I probably would have said, "Oh, hold on," like I'll take less time in qualifying to give me rain tires, I definitely would have went faster. But because I was out there and it's soaking wet, it was like I had opportunity to pass a few cars that I felt were going unnecessarily slow, but then that window closed, and then it was like I don't even feel comfortable trying to pass these cars. I'm just gonna sit behind my teammate and just cruise around. I'm just gonna punch it a little bit earlier than him so I qualify ahead of him, which worked.
So mind you, the car that you're in, by the way, is you're completely exposed. You're outside, basically, right?
Yeah, there's no roof.
Right. So what was it like you driving in the rain? You know what I mean, with like a mild windscreen, and basically just
There's no windscreen.
there is no windscreen.
There's
Okay.
there's no windscreen.
It's
So how was that?
It's like a 1960, 1970 radical car.
Whoa.
It well, the water just streams off the visor.
Okay.
So it's
Had that Rain X? No, okay.
like I legitimately needed an umbrella on the grid, but once you're moving, like it's not really it's not too bad because it was like the track was wet. It wasn't necessarily like pouring while we're on track. Now, like when I did Skip Barber at Lime Rock, it was actually raining, and that was concerning.
Yeah, I remember you posted those rain pictures. I was like, this guy
Yeah, but
got caught in the rain again.
yeah, but like with this, it wasn't like it wasn't really horrendous. The car had more grip than I thought it was going to, but it also was like, what is it worth risking? Because like I have a race and another quality in a race. Like what's this all about? So the race actually was dry, and it was a lot of fun. Like I botched the start because I left too much space in between the car in front of me and
How'd you guys start? You did a rolling start, or
it's rolling side by side.
Okay.
Like they went sooner than I thought they were going to. I was trying to warm the tires up and stuff. And granted, like also, I didn't pay for a fresh set of tires, so they just gave me somewhat used tires.
That was an option for you during the race. You could pay for tires, new tires.
You could.
Really?
It was like another $1,000 though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
I would have been faster. They told me I probably would have knocked the second off alone.
Oh,
just
for sure.
On the tires.
Absolutely.
And then I had no draft. And you need this draft here.
So if you don't pay for tires, they just give you whatever scrubs are on the car from the last time the car was used.
Yeah, or like someone on the team will get a new set, and the scrubs, assuming they're not in terrible condition, they'll
rotate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or you can just pay for the tires, and then when the weekend is over, they'll put those tires to the side till the next time you drive. And because the car is so light, it's not heavy on the tires and stuff. So like you can get multiple days out comfortably.
Did anybody that day of the race buy tires?
People had fresh slicks for sure. I seen it.
Yes, it was trying to race.
Well, because some of the people there compete at
it wasn't their
higher,
first time.
It's the higher skip. Not skip. SCCA levels, like the runoffs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They do that.
Right.
So they treat it like that.
Yeah.
It's time to go to work.
It's their regular series.
Yeah, exactly. But in the race, like I messed up the start, but it was fun. Like, did I have overtake in that one or the second race? But then my teammate pulled a nice double move on me and someone else, like the last lap. He got us. Because it was like, I saw him, I was like, I put a block on him. That feels really unnecessary because we're in like 20th. And I'm trying to.
Y'all didn't have the pace.
You're trying to learn the car more, get more comfortable, and understand the people you're racing with as well. Which it was like, I put a pass on somebody. I didn't even track out all the way because I had no idea if they were going to try and stick it around the outside or something. And it was like, that's the last thing I need. So let me give him space, and I'll just keep it pushing. But yeah, like they all seem rather mature. I'm saying this because like I've been racing go-karts with the high schoolers. The high schoolers are freaking maniacs, yo.
They be doing the most?
Yeah, because they all think they're going to F1. And like their frontal cortex is not formed.
Oh, you're going there.
We're going deep. We're going deep right now. So the frontal cortex,
if there's a risk to take, they are taking it, and they don't care. It's not even their money. Like it's their parents' money too. Like you're not paying for that go-kart. How you want to? Where you get 10 G's from? Come on now. Yeah. So it's like they're more mature and everything. It was fun. And then the second day, qualifying, I missed the draft. So like they drove off on me, which was fine. But then I set a new PB. Like the PB for the weekend.
Nice.
And then for the race, I came out of, at least I'm thinking I'm talking about this race, not the first race, but I came out of turn 1 and I was catching the guy at the bottom of the hill going up into the S's. Mm-hmm. And it was like, this is not the day to be going side by side with people through the S's for the back of the grid of a club race. So like, let me lift so I can just stay in this draft. But I lifted too early, and I lost the draft entirely. And they scooted off on me. And you need the draft around here if you want to be fast.
Makes sense.
The S's, going up the S's on the street, if you're not in that draft, you're getting behind.
You're getting cooked. It's over. So that kind of got me. And then I was having like a nice battle with a few people, and I messed up a downshift. And I couldn't get the car into the lower gear. I was trying to get to third, and it broke my concentration. And obviously, I overslowed because I'm like fighting with the shifter. Mm-hmm. And then like they got by me. I'm like, all that work for nothing. Mm-hmm. And just to give like a slight technical breakdown on the shifting, it's a sequential shifter, so you don't need the clutch once you're moving. Mm-hmm. You could just pull the shifter back
the
to
direction?
go up, but to go down you can't have any gas on, or at least no more than like 1% throttle, and then you can slam it forward. So like I accidentally had too much gas on, so it wouldn't downshift. And I'm like, why is it not giving me the gear? Oh, too much gas. And by the time I got into the gear, they were on me. Yeah, but no, it was a lot of fun.
How many laps in the race?
It's a 25-minute race, so if you're doing a little over, it's like
You usually don't remember how many laps when you're in the car.
it's like if you did like 2 minutes. So I was running like 2:11s
Yeah, you
for
gotta
lap
do,
time.
like,
So
math.
you divide 25 minutes by 2 minutes and 11 seconds, then
You get a number.
you get a number.
Yeah.
A number I can't give you right now.
Somebody do the quick
Somebody will give a number.
Somebody in the comments can.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's listen in the comments real quick. All right, so it sounds like you overall had a solid experience. It sounds like, you kind of kept the expectations relative to your experience level, which is something that I would feel like most people, tend to struggle with, because obviously, you get in the mix, you get excited, you want to shoot for the moon.
Nah, he went in humble like he should have. It was
That's dope.
He knew
So
where
I hope
his skill was, and that's where it was.
Right.
Kept it there.
Right. I hope the people at home, took something from that, nonetheless. But of course, you did the thing. It happened. Right. Feel like a champ.
Wait,
What's
we moving
next?
on from Ford, or I got one more question for Ford.
Oh, all right. No problem.
One more question.
Yeah.
And this is from me driving different horsepower cars. Did the spec Ford, feel like it was a fast car, a fast race car when you were in the car? Did it feel like something you was moving in, or did it feel like it was kind of slow?
It felt like you were. It did feel like you were moving because you're carrying good speed through the corners. It's not like there's some crazy shove in your back from a high horsepower car or something with a lot of torque. Like I felt street cars that have had that greater shove, but when you're going down the street before the bus stop, like you're probably doing like 120. It felt like you're moving pretty good. And the car's vibrating and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like a rigid car, but that was the last question I had. Go ahead.
Got you. I was just gonna ask, with having this race completed, of course, what's the next move?
Next would be to have another race weekend in the fall of this year. And then I would like to do it again next year. And next year, hopefully be able to do an international race. Like my ultimate dream would be to do a Formula car race at Silverstone. Like I do that. For me, there ain't much left besides
like F4?
Yeah, that'd be great. Even the test is like 5 Gs or 6 Gs, something like that. Not even a race weekend. But, it's not impossible. It's just you got to find the money or save the money.
It's a good thing you like PB&Js.
I like PB&J.
Is it cheaper over there? Is the racing over there cheaper than it is compared to us over here?
It is.
Like a lot or small amount? Like we're talking
10% difference?
It depends. There's too many different series to say like.
Definitive
Do you
answer.
know of any do they have anything similar to like how Skip Barber has their kind of curriculum here, or?
I'm pretty sure they do. Like people have told me Skip Barber is significantly more expensive than a driving school in the UK.
In the UK, yeah, I figured.
And even
I feel like it's more it's not well known, but maybe that's probably a poor choice of words. Like maybe it's.
You get more access.
Yeah, I feel like there's more access to it over there versus it being over here. Like Skip Barber, it's been known for like being almost like you like have to go to Skip Barber here in the U.S.
Right.
Versus,
overseas, it might be different.
Right. They have the more things are coming up now, but this is like after years of freaking Skip Barber like always being the number like one person that people always try to go to, but. I was always curious about too. I feel like I was telling him the other day. I see so many drivers. Everybody's going to the UK to race. Like everybody.
A lot of opportunity.
Try to get that seat time.
Man,
even if you
gotta go see my bruvs.
Even if you look at something where you have the same series here versus there, it's way cheaper over there. Like, I wish I could tell you the number for Carrera Cup here versus the UK, but it's a night and day difference.
We can talk about it offline.
Yeah.
Right. So, with that being said, of course, we're not where we normally are. We got to let the people know what's going on, man. I know you kind of dropped it in the beginning. Maybe they caught it, maybe they didn't. But, this weekend is a special weekend. Tell them what we doing.
IMSA 6 Hours of the Glen Weekend 2025.
Mm-hmm.
We're outside yet again.
What is this, our 5th year in a row?
My 5th, your 4th. And yeah, we're
getting up there.
We're out here.
This is my first 6 hour that I've been to for IMSA.
This is Seb's 3rd.
Yeah.
How you feeling this so far, Ty?
I love it, man. It's high octane and tires and race cars, man. This is where I'm in the racetrack. This is where I'm supposed to be at. I haven't been at a track for a couple years now, so it's been pretty good to see it, smell it, hear the atmosphere, be around car people that have passion for cars. You guys, obviously. It's a fun time. It's a little chillier than I thought, but it's nice.
Wait until tomorrow. And then Sunday.
Yeah, Mother Nature got a plan for us.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's always cooking up here.
And I gotta drive back home in a race car, so we'll see too.
I'll probably say that our Watkins Glen experiences that we've had over the course of the years probably definitely assisted in some way when it comes to your first actual race that you happen to choose at Watkins Glen. I would say like there was definitely obviously some influence there. Not only was their proximity with the fact that we actually live in New York already, but of course the fact that we've been here multiple times. We took the time each time to kind of explore the actual track itself and see different corners and different sections. Probably help you maybe visualize things a little bit more. Doing something like this, would you recommend that to somebody who's like interested in pursuing this? Like, hey, listen, maybe it's a good idea to go visit that track that you plan on racing at, when they're having a 24-hour, or in this case, a 6-hour, or like Sebring, a 12-hour, just so you can get a different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll definitely motivate you to get out there, and even if you don't plan on getting in the car and going around the track in any capacity, you should go. It's worth the price of admission. Trust me.
Absolutely. One thing I can say is that whenever we do these trips, the beauty of it is that it appeals to people who don't necessarily have to have the insane level of passion that all four of us have here. It's something that, your average person at home can come, have a weekend, spend some time with some friends, enjoy a good time at the track, maybe have some food. And then, of course, in addition, there's a lot of things that you can do outside of the track, whether it's hiking on a trail or exploring some restaurants. I would say that definitely adds to the beauty of coming to Watkins Glen.
I'm trying to go back to that strip where we were chilling on the seat rockers at the ice cream shop. I'm trying to go back.
True.
We could have stayed there the rest of the night today.
Right?
We could have shot
Hey,
the
listen, man,
podcast outside.
the rockers was comfortable. It was rocking.
I was chilling.
Yep.
But yeah, of course for me, like the whole experience from both Coda and Watkins Glen for me is like, I'm here. And anybody that thought I wasn't that serious about it, now you know. I am.
We got the receipts.
Yep. And it's only going to get better from here. Just wait and see. We're working at it every day. Yeah, but, that'll do it for this show. Appreciate you all for listening. There's more to come for sure. And per usual, keep elevating.
Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. Stop playing.